Now, if you've got a gain-hungry microphone, you might need something like a cloud lifter or a Fethead. Something, if you've got something like a Rode Procaster or a Shaw, like I've got here, some of those are what they call gain-hungry microphones. So you can buy these things called Fetheads or cloud lifters to actually boost up the gain of your microphone. Or you could buy one of these, which is the preamp and a processor. So if I move this out of the way, you're still going to need an audio interface. So you're going to need an audio interface. Again, depending on your budget, that's up to you what you get. Some of your audio interfaces might be powerful enough to drive the Shure microphone and the Rode Procaster itself without the need for anything extra. However, let's go through this. So here we go walk through this. So basically, once you've got your audio interface, you're going to plug your microphone in here. We want to go the microphone here first, and then this will plug into your audio interface. This then allows you to use all the functionalities we've got across there. So if I move this across so I can see, so what we've got, basically 5 units in one. So we've got the amplifier here, or the preamp, which we can select how much gain we want. I've got man flu, and I haven't got power or whatever to plug this in. And the way my voice sounds at the moment, I wouldn't do justice. But basically, these are kind of all over the radio stations, absolutely perfect for podcasting. And you can do things like cut out noise in the background here. So here is your amplification. So this can boost your microphone. You've got 48 volts phantom power if your microphone needs that. You can press that and it'll turn off all the processing. So we'll just use the amplification here, and it will turn off all the processing further down the strip. But then if you move across the strip, we've got things like drive, which is basically the compressor. So we can actually, if you don't know anything about compressors, what we're trying to do is so our lows aren't too low and our highs aren't too high. We're trying to compress the two. So we're trying to bring a balance to our output of the microphone, so we're not too hot and we're not too low at the bottom. So that's what that's going to do. The DSs, now probably now I've got Manflow, my S's, it sounds, the sibilance is the S's. This is what this will do. So you can actually, and again, depending to where your S's, your voice S's is, we can actually change. So if I move that down there, yeah. So that's these here. That's the DS's. So that will actually take out the sounds from your voice. Moving further down, we've got what is basically known as the enhancer. So you could probably think of that as basically bass, I suppose. So we've got the low frequencies and the high frequencies. So things like low frequency as in the basses, and the high frequencies. So we can actually change the balance of that. So you imagine all of this is being processed before it hits your recording or before it hits your live stream. So this will give you a nice, the idea is to get perfect sound, all nicely tuned before it goes out. So you don't necessarily have to do post-production or through your video editing app or your live stream. Once it's gone live, it's live anyway. So the idea is that's how that will control that. Moving across, we've got the expander and gate. You imagine the expander there. Let's see if that's... The expander is basically detail. That's going to, as we move this up, this is going to increase the detail both on the high end and on the low end. So as we've manipulated all the sounds coming further down or further up the channel, this enhancer, sorry, the expander will actually increase and expand those details. And then finally we've got the gate. The gate is basically a noise gate. So much as a physical gate, once you've set this at a certain level, anything under that will basically be shut off. There will be no further sound coming into the unit. So you don't necessarily want to block off all sounds, but if you've got something rumbling in the background, or you've got something like a computer fan and that, you could probably set it so it just clears that, and then when you speak, the idea is when you speak, the gate is open and any sound will come through, or all the sound would come through, but obviously your voice should overpower your computer's fan and stuff like that. And when you go quiet, it will drop down to the level you'll set it. So you can set it so it definitely cuts down your computer fans, but for some reason, if you had a bird tweeting in the room, that would, why you would have a bird in the room, but that's a different story, that might cut through. So you decide how much of the background noise you want to cut out. The only thing to watch with that is you can go quite aggressive, so when it goes all the way down, it's like, you know, total silence, and then as soon as you speak, if you've got window noise and computer fans, all of those, and your voice all seems to rush on it, so you might want the teeniest of ambient sound in there, but you can cut off the words. So the idea with them, if somebody, and I've done this before, I've been in this room, and if somebody's been in the kitchen speaking, it's just cut out their voice hasn't been powerful enough to actually get through to the unit, even if I wasn't speaking. So somebody in the other room you could potentially cut out as well, so that's quite useful. And then the final one is the output gain. So once, we've lowered and increased and lowered things and all that kind of stuff, this is your final one. If you need a bit of boost or final output gain, you can change that here, and then obviously you'll see your peak levels in through your audio interface and or your software you're using on your computer. So that is a preamp or a mic preamp and processor. So that bit there would be equivalent to your cloud lift or your FET. Everything else is processing. Yes, you can do these type of things now on your roadcasters and stuff like that, but if you've already got an audio interface and you want these, because technically once you've set it, it's set and forget. So that is the DBX 286s audio interface. So that's the preamp. Again, connections are at the back. The only disappointing thing with these, I ended up getting, we call these kettle connections. I don't know what they're standard connections like on your monitor. There is no switch on the device, so I ended up having a switch on a because I had two of these. I had a parasite switch, a parasite lead with a switch on it. So my only disappointing thing is there is no switch, but I would assume these would normally be racked, and there might be a power sent to the entire rack, and then you would power up and down the rack. But for an individual, that's perfect. So if you've already got an audio interface and you want to make your sound a bit sweeter, that radio broadcast, you can go wild, and it sounds like, you know, late night radio and all that kind of stuff. Really nice device. So if you found this video helpful, do give us a thumbs up. I'm going to cover all the different bits of kit. Not necessarily that you need them all. Sometimes you don't need this, or maybe you want, you know, it's like how is somebody else is getting that sweet sound, and is it because they're using the best microphone? It might be, or it might be because they're using something like that, which is sweetening up a lower cost microphone. So hopefully that was helpful. Give us a thumbs up if it was, and don't forget to tap subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.